Hey guys, Kaz here from Two Broke Watch Snobs with a video review of the Maurice Lacroix Aikon Automatic. Really interesting watch, and that people either love this watch or they hate this watch, and they're gonna love it or hate it for the same reason, and that's basically because very clearly the watch is heavily inspired by the design of the AP Royal Oak. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is it an indifferent thing? What I wanted to do is just spend some time with the watch. So there's a written review on twobrokeWatchSnobs.com where there's additional photos and longer insights, more writing. You can check it out. But I want to spend some time just talking about some key points on this video here, just to give you some insight into my personal thoughts after I've spent some time with this watch. I've had this watch for, a couple of weeks. Been a couple weeks so far. So here is my little carpet, the carpet for ants. Ants gonna be with me on my video reviews from now on. So first thing I want to talk about is the brace on this thing. Bracelet's a beast. This bracelet is easily the highlight of the watch. You can tell it's what they spent the most time focusing on. It catches light perfectly. So this is one link. It looks like it's 5 separate parts, but it's actually one link. There we go. It's just alternating different brush patterns, so it's 1 2 1 2 1. It's really cool. The edges here have a really fun high polish bevel that you can a bevel high polish. There you go. And in terms of just the wearing experience, it does wear really well. So when I first got this and went to size it, I had a really fun surprise. I undid this butterfly, really beautiful butterfly clasp. It hides when you close it, and that way you just get an endless row of links. But really fun surprise is that they had this like perlage detail on the inside of the clasp. Interesting side note, every time I say perlage, I sound like I'm trying to order something from Starbucks, and I just don't know what I'm saying. Just put hot liquid in the cup, and I will leave. But I sized the watch, I threw it on for the first time, and I spent about 24 hours just doing this. And just watching how light just kind of just danced and just kind of skipped over the whole bracelet. Let's see if I can turn my bracelet exorcist style all the way around. Can't quite. Yeah, the only sense of the clasps you get are these really cool just little buttons that stick out, and it opens smoothly. Just press it, bam, pops off. Perlage detail. Get a grande perlage, please. Bracelet, really good. They spent time on it. It feels really solid. One really fun detail is it has these, let's see if I can get this in the video, easy release levers, culinary. You see those 2 little buttons there? All you got to do is grab them, pull them in, and it comes out. Super cool. Not super cool about this. You can only put Maurice Lacroix straps on there. So if you're a strap fiend like me and you got, a bunch of straps everywhere, if you have suede you want to throw on there or something, any other type of strap, you're a little SOL in that the Maurice Lacroix, this integrated kind of lug bracelet system, it's only going to accept this bracelet, which really is phenomenal. I totally get it. This thing is really a lot of fun. I just play with it. This is going to be a 14-minute video of me just playing with this bracelet. Full disclosure. Or it will also fit, Maurice Lacroix sells additional leather straps that you can go buy and put on here. But if you had a bucket full of NATOs or something like that and you wanted to play around, or if you had leather straps that were also super nice and you wanted to play around and see what they look like, the Maurice Lacroix, you'd be SOL. So I think it's interesting that they have this feature. It's just not really utilized to its full extent, in my opinion. The other interesting thing, so this watch, a watch in this price point, I think the price point of this watch is a touch under $1,900, full price. You can find them for much less through dealers and used and everything like that. But a watch at this price with this much attention to the bracelet, I would have expected screw links. These are pin and collar links. So what I would recommend is if you were to get this watch and you wanted to size the bracelet, you need the sizing tool, and a bunch of bandages, because you're going to stab yourself a lot as you try and maneuver around these pin and collars. So I had a bit of a hell of a time, there you go, getting the links off of here. But finally, when I did it, totally works. It fits really well. I'm also of the type of person that likes to sort of work on their own watch. Open it up if you need to. Size the bracelet if you need to. If a crystal is cracked or something like that, you need to replace it. Do that yourself. Obviously, if you were to take it to Watch Tech, they could size it for you, no problem. So the whole screw link thing shouldn't be an impediment to someone purchasing the watch. I only bring it up just because it's screw link technology is super super accessible these days. There are $500, $600 micro brand pieces that have screw links. And the reason I'm harping on it is if you put this much attention into a bracelet to make it as comfortable as possible, at least make it user. I mean, it is user friendly with these quick release. Let me see there. Get some focus. Quick release little, levers. I would have expected screw links. That would have been nice. But that just wasn't the choice that was made. Maybe they thought it would have been distracting with if you saw the little screw heads there. But either way, the bracelet works really, really well in conjunction with this case. The case is done really well also. Just to help give some perspective, I'm just going to show you guys the case. I'm going to put the really beautiful bracelet right there. Bam, we can all admire it on my tiny carpet. That's got to be a pun. Really, really cool. It's a very normal, organic extension of the bracelet. They're very much one cohesive unit, and they work together really, really well to just create a really fun wearing experience. It is fun. It feels good to wear the watch. The case itself doesn't actually have any curvature. The lugs don't really extend beyond the case back. So in terms of what you would think of as comfortable, it's not necessarily your normal comfortable experience, like sort of with some other Seiko divers that have that curved case that really adds to the comfort. It's the bracelet, it's the integrated lug system of the bracelet and the case working together that are really creating that comfortable wearing experience. Case diameter on this, it's 42 millimeters case diameter, and then lug to lug, it's 48. I think it was 47.8 that I had on my calipers, so I'm just going to call it 48. And definitely like it. It's got this brush detailing on the side, and then very similar to the bracelet, the edges here are, let me see, bam, polished and beveled. The bezel, fixed bezel here, really cool in that this is the one part of the watch where I think they really went out of their way to have it not look like the Royal Oak, because obviously the Royal Oak has the screws. But unfortunately for me, it's a little bit distracting. So these little almost like a talon pattern, they're very high polished, while the bezel here is brushed. And I don't know, for some reason, unfortunately to me, every time if I was wearing the watch and I went to check the time, this was really distracting because these are high polished, the markers are high polished, the hands are high polished, the dial has a bit of a sheen to it, and all at once it did affect legibility a little bit to me. So that was something that I thought was an interesting choice. But again, I think maybe it was done specifically so there were some non-Royal Oak elements on here. But otherwise, the case construction itself feels really, really good. One thing that I really nitpick on in the written review, and you guys can check it out, is the choice of movement. So the watch, it's touch under 1900, new. You can find it for better prices online and everything. But this watch is equipped with the Maurice Lacroix caliber ML115. It's an automatic three-hander, hacks, manual winds, date wheel, all that fun, pretty standard stuff. It's just essentially a Maurice Lacroix branded base Sellita SW200. And I make this point in the written review in that they spent so much time really making this bracelet wonderful, getting a lot of just fine touches on here. The quick release, this beautiful, beautiful clasp, this perlage detail on the clasp. They spent a lot of time and obviously a lot of the cost on the bracelet, the case quality. Something had to get cut somewhere, and I mean clearly it's the movement. So this is it's very basically decorated. Geneve stripes in the rotor. You can see a little bit more perlage on the bridge plates. I would have liked to have seen something a bit more movement focused, maybe kind of flexing their muscles with what they could do on a movement in terms of modulations, or maybe in terms of out of the box decorations, other than just kind of this, especially because it has the exhibition case back. Oh, and by the way, the exhibition case back is sapphire, and the main crystal here is sapphire as well. But the Sellita SW200, it's a good movement. It's basically very heavily derived off the ETA 2824, so it has essentially that reliability. There's just a few things that I've noticed as odd quirks with the Sellita SW200 that I've noticed in other movements as well. The winding mechanism, there you go, the winding mechanism is a little, it's a little clunky. I'm going to try and get this on the mic so you guys can hear it. There's a weird skip. There's a weird kind of beat skip in there that occurs. Crown does screw down. I'll talk about that in a second. There's a weird beat skip that does occur, and there's a lot more resistance than you would expect to have. I have other movements that are ETA 2824s. They wind fine. I have movements which are quote unquote, bad compared to. There's a really shitty air quotes. Just looks kind of rapey. Whatever. There you go. No editing. But those movements, which are quote-unquote bad compared to this, they wind way, way smoother. And so I don't know if it's an issue of a lack of really focused regulation, or, they're just getting these things from Sellita with their Maurice Lacroix rotor on there, and they're just putting it in here and then shutting it. But the movement is something that I felt like was lacking. But I totally get focusing on the case and the bracelet and then letting the movement slide in order to keep cost appropriate. That does make total sense to me. Watch is rated for 200 meters, screw down crown, case back exhibition. I don't think I've ever seen I haven't seen many 200 meter divers with exhibition case backs. Also, please be aware, if you're wearing this at 200 meters, you're gonna die. I'm not entirely sure what you'd be doing wearing this watch 200 meters in the ocean. Wear your Seiko or your dive computer, or don't leave your submersible. That's just my thought. I'm going to put this back on the bracelet just so you guys can get the full experience. So to kind of wrap things up, is it an homage? Is it a copy? I don't think the Maurice Lacroix... I got to look past the camera to get this thing in there. It's hard looking in the camera and doing... There we go. I don't think the Maurice Lacroix is an homage or a copy. I think it decided to take its design inspiration from an iconic timepiece, like a lot of other watches do. A lot of other watches take their design cues from classic-looking chronographs, Rolex Submariners, obviously. That's pretty common. It's just that not a lot of other brands have decided to use the AP Royal Oak as their design inspiration. So unfortunately, since there's not a lot of other Royal Oak inspired watches, anytime something does pop up, people are going to be inclined to think of it as a copy or an homage. So I don't necessarily think this is one of those things. The unfortunate thing is that since there aren't a lot of other AP designed or Royal Oak designed watches, it's going to be hard to get that out of your head if you buy this watch. So the type of person I would really envisioning buying this watch is someone that saw this watch and fell in love with it independently of the whole association with this piece and the AP Royal Oak, or someone that was a pretty seasoned collector and they just wanted something fun and they had $2,000 in their watch budget. Someone who wouldn't necessarily focus too much or have the AP Royal Oak similar features be the biggest selling point. If you want an AP Royal Oak and you buy this watch, it might be cool for a month, but I can totally see you just being like, not into it, being like, still lusting over the Royal Oak. Obviously, these are complete different price points. We're also talking about this. This is a touch under 2,000. I think the AP Royal Oak. I should get Michael, my podcast partner, in here. He would know. I think it's probably easily above like $15,000. I think for that watch, like starting level. That's my understanding. So, complete different planets as far as I'm concerned in terms of price. I'm gonna put it on my wrist here. But the watch in and of itself, it's a fine watch. So take a look at the written review. Take a look at the photos in there. If you have any questions based on anything that I've talked about, damn, it does look good on wrist. Maurice Lacroix, I'll give you that. This son of a bitch does look super good on the wrist. Now I'm going to do this for the next 24 hours. Thanks, Internet. If you have any questions on the watch, let me know what's up in the comments below. Go and check out the written review as well. Otherwise, Kaz from Two Book Watch Snobs here, reviewing the Maurice Lacroix Aikon Automatic. Take care.